All right, I think I'm live, and I'm going to start off by apologizing for possibly poor internet connection and my background and everything. I've got everyone home in my house right now, and they're probably going to be yelling and screaming, and you'll hear them stomping. So I was trying to pick the best place to do this live show. But basically, I'm on my own tonight. Not many of us liked the book or finished the book. So we're going to be discussing Winterset Hollow by Jonathan Edward Durham. This is available on Kindle Unlimited right now, and I'll talk about it a little bit, do like some non-spoilery stuff just in case you haven't read it yet, and then once I get into spoilers, then I'll let you know just in case. I want to start off with like, I guess, initial thoughts, and I had a really hard time with this book, but I think I am not the right audience for this. The people that I would recommend this book to are definitely people who like slashers and who like really weird books. One positive thing about this book is I really like the writing, and there were quite a few quotes and things of that sort that I thought were like beautifully written. I think it is a well-written book. I just think the pacing is off, and it wasn't my type of book. But I would recommend it, which is really weird. But basically, our main character, Eamon is he gets these tickets in the mail to go on this ferry to an island that is the place where his favorite childhood book is based off of. So him and his two friends go there. So Mark and Caroline, they're a couple, and Eamon and Caroline are the only ones who have read the book. And they go there to check out the island and just to see, like, you know, the magic of your childhood fairy tale, favorite tale or whatever that you grow up reading, and like that it's like your childhood comfort read. So they go there on this ferry, and they end up finding out that the characters from the book are real, and they are like anthropomorphic animals. It's the only way that I can think to phrase it. Or also, I kept thinking about if you've seen Donnie Darko, you've got like Big Frank Rabbit. So I kept thinking of that, even though like these, I feel like come off as more like Winnie the Pooh type characters. And so they go to this island, and the big event in the novel is Barley Day or Barley Hunt Day. And so it's like this annual party that they throw for like the changing of the seasons. So they show up on the island, and it's an actual event, and the characters are real, and then it turns into something like way darker. So that's basically the premise of it. And if you're here in the comments, thank you for being here. Hello, Amy, Bernard. If you guys read it, I know, Amy, you read it. But if you're here in the comments or afterwards, let me know what you thought of the book and if you liked it. Yeah, I have a hard time with slashers, which is kind of weird because I'm all for like horror movie slashers and like gory, fun, like over the top slashers, like Terrifier and stuff like that. But it's really hard in a book for me. This one was a little bit different. I kept thinking about, I'm trying to think of another slasher that, didn't we all read a slasher last summer? I'm having a hard time remembering. We read something where it was like college kids traveling somewhere that they shouldn't have been traveling, or like making poor decisions, and they were all just like getting drunk, having sex, and just getting killed. And like that's kind of stuff I don't like. So I thought I would like this one a little bit more, but just because, I don't know, I'm a fantasy reader. I like whimsical, weird, beautifully written things, but it was not what I was expecting. I don't know. At one point, I hit like, I wanted to say like I was halfway through the book. Like I had to have been halfway through the book, and I went back and checked, and I was only like 20% in, and it was just oddly paced. It took a while. They get to the island, and you know what's going to happen. I think from most of the synopsis, you can kind of guess. If you're like a horror fan, you can kind of guess. And yeah, I just felt like it took forever to get to like the actual action. I took it as like both. I don't know. To me, a tropical island and jungle is kind of the same. Like it was warm. I was picturing like palm trees and forests and stuff. So I listened to, or I didn't listen to it. I'm sorry. I read it on ebook because it's like an Audible exclusive or something. I couldn't get hold of the audiobook, and then also once I heard you say that the audio was bad, I wasn't even going to bother trying to get it. I liked the writing though. I liked a lot of the descriptions, and not of like people getting injured or killed or whatever, but of like the setting and like the emotional stuff and the themes. But yeah, I feel bad because the rest of us who did at least try to read it DNF'd it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was. Or were they in Mexico or something? It was definitely somewhere hot and warm. I can't believe it was a David Sodergren's. I think it was a David Sodergren. I don't know. I remember not liking it or not finishing it. But oh, yes. This is, yeah, is that the David Sodergren novel? I think this is the one. I have a horrendous memory. After having a child and then having COVID like 3 or 4 times, it's nothing's in here. So I'm just gonna go into a little bit more spoilers. Yes, okay, yeah. I could see that. And some of it was like gruesome and gory, but I definitely don't think it was like extreme horror by any means. But yeah, I could see it coming off as YA. So spoiler wise, obviously, like from the synopsis, you can gather like there's going to be a hunt. It's like the most dangerous game. I had to read that in school. I don't know if any of you else did. But some of the themes that I thought were interesting that I thought the author was trying to touch on were like the humans, the author. I'm looking at my notes because I forget his name. Is it like Addington? The author of the children's book, we find out that he like went to the island and like took over, and like humans in general took over the land and kept these creatures in cages and like killed their ancestors and all these things. And I think it kind of just like reflects like colonialism, but also just like humanity in general wreaking havoc on the world and nature and other species and everything. But I also think there's a lot of themes and points that touch on revenge and an eye for an eye, and how that can just turn into like this vicious cycle that never ends. I think we see that with the rabbit Runny, who eventually at the end, or like throughout this last dinner party hunt, he's kind of like done with it, and he's like, why are we doing this? Like one of the passages that I highlighted and really enjoyed is when he like goes out into the rye field and just like it takes in the nature one last time and dies. Like he wanted to just be done with it. Like it's never going to end. You're never going to get the revenge you want. You're just going to keep going and going and going. Like you're not going to get that closure. So I liked those themes, especially like as someone who I try to make good choices for the environment as much as possible, and appreciate nature as much as possible and things of that sort. So I thought they were some fun themes. What did you guys think about the interweaving of the book? Like it had like the poetry or the little snapshots of the childhood like book, like the actual Winterset Hollow book. those were interesting. I wonder, like, Amy, how did that come across for, like, with the audiobook? I liked having those in there. I did enjoy that aspect because that was some of the aspect that was kind of like beautifully written, and I wasn't expecting it to be in there, but I did like having that and kind of getting a glimpse of what the book was about. And I could see how, like, as a child, you might turn to that and like to like memorize passages or look back kindly on it. But I wasn't expecting that to be in there, but that was at least one aspect that I enjoyed. I know I'm talking like a lot and getting through my notes really fast, but let's see what else I have. I don't know if that would have, the interweaving of the original novel. I'm sorry if you can hear my child screaming. He's a maniac. I liked it. Oh, you like the quality of the poetry and the prose? Yeah. I am impressed by that portion of it and like the writing in general. I saw the author went to school for like neuroscience or something. I don't know like how far he went or whatever, but I liked having that in there. Was it like a childish voice? I don't know why I imagined it being like, it's such like a dark story, but like I imagine them trying to put like a really happy twist on it. I liked having it in there. I was thinking though that he could have made this a novella and it would have been like, I don't know, maybe he could have like upped the ante on the violence, or maybe I don't know if I'm like desensitized to the violence because I didn't think it was like that bad, but he could have like upped it a lot and then made like a novella that like really packed a punch, but then he probably would have had to like take out those excerpts and stuff, which I think added to my enjoyment. But, oh my gosh, I hope you can't hear that. It's like WrestleMania upstairs right above my head. Yeah, I think that's where it like ebbed and flowed for me because it just seemed, I was like, I knew what was going to happen. I was just waiting for the hunt to start, for somebody to die or get hurt or for someone to get attacked or whatever. And that's where it was like, it just took too long to get there. Yeah, the pacing was weird for me. Oh, interesting. Wait, was it the author? No, I wonder if he did it. I also maybe am affected by the mood that I'm in. Sorry, when I read, obviously. But I mean, like, right now, I'm really into either really short books or like I'm reading a lot of really big, chunky fantasy very slowly. And like, that's just like the mood that I was in or have been in, am in. So this was kind of hard to focus on. I don't know if he's written anything else. I definitely would check out his work though. Yeah, I think as long as it wasn't like I don't even know how to explain it. Like, as long as they weren't making it like sugary sweet, like I think it would have been cool to make like some creepy voices for the animals. Yeah, I don't see any other works by him. Could be wrong. But yeah, I think the audiobook could have been good if they had multiple voices. My husband's asking if they're too loud, and he said sorry. He's wild. Of course he's wild. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, and you know, it has a fairly high rating on Goodreads. I'm gonna look real quick. I thought it was like over 4 stars or something. So I think a lot of people like it, and I've been recommended it a lot. And it sounds like a book that I would like, but it just didn't get there. And I don't rate books, like I don't do a 5-star scale anymore, but if I did, I'd probably give it like a 2. Just the writing was good, it just wasn't for me. Yeah, no, I think this is not like this is not like me saying this is a bad book. It's not a bad book. It's just not my thing. And I feel really bad because I don't have much else to talk about. I feel like it's so much easier for me to talk about a book that I love than a book that I didn't like. Even if I like absolutely hate the book, I still feel like I just don't want to. I'm just like, I'm done with it. Like, I don't want to discuss it that much. I don't know. I'm gonna check my notes though, just in case. Just in case. Oh, and I think, yeah, I think it could be really creepy and gory because I kept thinking about Frank. I think that's his name from Donnie Darko, like the creepy rabbit. I think they could make it like really just like dark and gruesome. I think it was we got, another thing that I think I would have liked a little bit more is, unless I missed it, more of Eamon's past. So we find out, like, we're just dropped right there in the very beginning that he ended up in foster care. His mom died in childbirth, and then like his dad is gone. Like his dad disappears, and that's why he ends up in childcare. But it sounds like that we're like living off the grid, and like his dad always warned him about the outside world and the danger, and but then like his dad disappears, and of course we come to find out through the statues on the island that his dad went there and was going to try to, I guess, end all the creatures there and like take everything out so his son doesn't have to continue to live that way, and so he doesn't have to worry about his son. And then his son ends up going there anyway because of like the pool of everything. So I thought that was interesting, but I think I would have liked a little bit more of that aspect. He could have maybe added in some like creepy elements of like warnings from his dad. And I, oh my God, hopefully you cannot hear them. Yeah, I definitely think it would be a fun movie. You could make it like, I don't know if you guys have seen Terrifier, but like that movie is so over the top and gruesome and ridiculous, yet still terrifying. But I think, yeah, it could be both. Yeah, I and I was kind of worried that this was going to be the case because once I was, just a little section through the book, I was like, oh my God, this book is not going to be it. If I wasn't like the one hosting, I would have probably DNF'd. But yeah, it's just not much to say. I did highlight a lot of quotes. I think the ones that I liked the most, like I mentioned earlier, is when Runny is kind of like going into the rye field at the end, and he like lays down in the rye, and he like lets the wind blow over him. He like smells the wind or feels the wind or something, and then he thinks back to like the time when things were simpler and he was in the hollow and him and his frog friend could just like frolic and live their good happy lives. And yeah, but for the most part it was just fine. Yeah, okay, that's another good one too. You know, my mind is going somewhere now. So maybe they even say it in the books, like, don't meet your heroes. Like, think about any time maybe you grew up reading a book series and you realize that maybe the author sucks as you're older, or maybe you realize like the book itself was like a symbol for something completely different, and you just thought as a child you were reading something fun and lighthearted. So that's one way to look at it, but also like real life trauma and losing yourself in like a comfort read, which I think, oh, what's this? The show Magicians, like based off of the books. I haven't read that or seen that show, but I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think it had good themes, good writing and good themes, just poor execution and pacing. Yeah, I think, look at my notes. Similar premise. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this book was like my kind of thing. Just didn't work, but I know I keep reiterating it, but yeah. And then he just burns the house down and gets away with it. I guess that makes sense. Just to like get rid of all the proof for all the clues, and yeah. So I'm sorry that I don't have much to say about this book. Yeah, next month might be a lot if I can't like contain myself. It's one of my favorite books of all time that we're reading next month. I have it here. So it is Your House is on Fire, Your Children All Gone by Stephen Keesby. If you follow us on Instagram, and I think I put it in the Discord, I'll make sure I do that just in case. But I shared a link to Abe Books where you can buy physical copies of this, because I think it's kind of hard to come by. I'm not sure about like if you're outside of the United States, because it could be easier to get. But this is, I don't know, it's a horror book club, so I don't know if you guys want trigger warnings. It is very dark. We have children playing pranks on each other, but the pranks just keep getting worse and worse and worse. It's a very dark book. So just warning you there. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I feel like back to The Most Dangerous Game, that story, it's been done so many times. So many times. So it's like you just know, but this one just happened to have a different twist to it, like with it being like animal characters. Nice. Yeah, I think like thrift books, I heard someone saying like thrift books and Abe Books, it's all kind of like the same inventory or something, or they're all, I don't know, it's different like used book sites all like search books from other stores, and I don't know, they all kind of work together or something. Yeah, I originally read it though through my library on ebook, so, and then I had to have my own copy. Yeah, but it's basically a small village, and we've got kids doing horrendous things. Yeah, so it's Your House is on Fire, Your Children All Gone, Stephen Keesby. They say Shirley Jackson meets the Twilight Zone, and it's like Brothers Grimm mixed with Children of the Corn. And so we've got a small town. This is going to have multiple perspectives. We've got 4 young friends. This is like coming of age, and they all start playing tricks on each other, and they get darker and darker as they go, and like worse and worse as they go. And they're living in a small town that's like shrouded in superstitions and things of that sort. I want to make sure I'm not going to spoil anything, but once they start, playing these pranks, and they start like learning more about the people in the town and like the dark secrets of the town. And again, it's really dark. I'm excited to read it. It'll be my 3rd time reading it. So sounds like my childhood. I hope you were doing this stuff. I mean, you might have to be in prison if you were. But yeah, it's one of my favorite books of all time. So hopefully people can get a copy of it and hopefully read it and enjoy it. It's just under 200 pages, so it's not a long one. But I feel like it flies under the radar a lot. I don't know. I know. I hope you read it and then you're like, yeah. I mean, like, you don't have to confess to us anything, but you're doing some of this stuff. I don't know. But yeah, it's very interesting, and I think it leaves... It's not like an ambiguous ending or anything, but I think it gives off or leaves off enough that we can have like some open discussions about it. But I'm so excited to read this one. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's like all kinds of violence and cannibalism, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. The town is called or it's a village on the Devil's Moor, a place untouched by time and shrouded in superstition. Yeah, so I hope it's fun. I wish I could show you the cover a little better, but my camera quality and lighting sucks. But like it says, if you tell on me, you're dead. It's just kids being like horrible kids, which is, you know, always fun. So, of course, I will have, if you our Instagram, I'll keep you updated on when the live show is for the next one, and I'm sure it'll be longer than half an hour. I am trying to like get this growing a little bit and do it more often. We're just all kind of going to jump in and out of live shows when we're available, when we read the book, like if we finish it and things of that sort. It's kind of going to be more relaxed kind of going forward. But I will keep you updated on the next live show. I might do a poll. It is a shorter book, and I don't know if we want to do the last week in February or like the first week in March, just because February is a shorter month. But yeah, I just wanted to get the ball rolling on this book club. Remember what I said earlier, nothing in my head. And also moving forward, if people aren't available or it's just gonna be one person again, I am gonna start like reaching out to people that are outside of the main group and asking for like guest co-hosts and things of that sort. So even if you don't have a channel, or if you're watching this later or whatever and you're following us and you see that we're reading a book you really want to discuss, you can message me or message HORRORIN24 on Instagram and you can join on the cam. You just need to have like a webcam, nothing fancy. So yeah, I just want to get like more people here to discuss and have fun. Yeah, so I'm excited for this. I hope you guys are too. I hope I'm not like pumping it up way too much. But yeah, I think that's it for now. Keep an eye on Instagram. Thank you, Amy and Bernard, for discussing this with me. Bernard, I'm glad you liked the book. I know a lot of people did. It's just not a lot of people here that liked it. Thanks, guys, for coming. And again, if you are watching after the live show, please leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the book. If you have any book recommendations for future selections, let us know as well. I will be picking April and May. I think I'm going to do like 2 more books, as long as everyone's cool with the ones that I'm thinking of. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm sorry, it was so short. Yeah, I like it for what it was. Yeah, that's a good one. Sorry. I'm going to go so I can get a drink. But thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video, and if not then, I will see you next month. Bye.